Hey everyone, welcome back to Selena's Simple Kitchen. Today I'm doing something a little bit different than normal. Today I am trying my hand at making chicken broth. This morning I butchered 5 roosters that have been tormenting my poor hens in my hen house. They were from chickies from last year from when my little hen hatched them out, but they had to go. They were ruffians, they were causing issues, so they needed to go. So they are actually in the stew pot right now. We won't go into details on how I did it, but we're gonna try to make some chicken broth today. So I've got this started boiling, and we need to scoop off this foam that kind of appears on the top, and then we will get to adding some veggies and stuff. This little foam kind of ends up on the top of this about 10 to 15 minutes into boiling. And the reason we need to scrape this off is to just create a cleaner chicken broth is all we're trying to do. We don't want it to be all cloudy and foggy. So we're gonna get this scraped off the top. Looks like we got most of it there. I'm gonna let this cook for just a couple more minutes, and then I'll be back to chop up an onion and some other veggies that I'm gonna put in here just to kind of give it some more flavor while it's cooking. Okay, so we got all the foam off the top, and now it is time to add some veggies and some onions and some seasonings to this soon-to-be chicken broth to kind of add some flavor. So I have diced up some carrots, and I'm gonna throw these guys in there. You can leave them whole if you want, if you don't plan to use them, but I am going to use all of these veggies and some of this chicken for a chicken casserole here in a little while for our dinner tonight. So that's why I diced all of these up, so it's a little bit smaller to go in that casserole. Stay tuned. I will be posting how to make this chicken casserole later. I have 1 large onion that I diced up. I'm gonna add this in. And then I'm gonna add about 3 cloves of garlic in as well. And I diced them up nice and small. I just like lots of flavor. And then we need about a couple tablespoons of pepper, black pepper. You can use peppercorns, you can use whatever you like. Go a little heavier because this is a broth, remember? And we're gonna add a couple teaspoons of salt. Again, we're going a little heavy because it is a broth. And we're gonna add in a couple bay leaves as well. Again, all about the flavor. I'm gonna go ahead and put 3 of them in. Kind of give this a little bit of a stir to get all of that down in there. You don't want a whole bunch of water in here with this because, again, we are making a broth. So you do want it kind of concentrated. So you just want it to cover your chicken and your veggies really good. All right, we're going to, now that we kind of have that stirred in a little bit, we're just gonna let it cook, simmer for probably about an hour. Granted, yes, the chicken is already probably done, but we're gonna go ahead and let it just continue to simmer just to get some more of that chicken flavor in that chicken broth and to make that yummy goodness. Okay, see you back in an hour. Our chicken and veggies and herbs have been stewing / simmering for a little over an hour. So we're gonna go ahead and separate out our chicken from our broth. And remember, we're gonna use this chicken in a chicken casserole here in a little while for dinner, as well as I'm going to take it off the bone and I'm gonna freeze some of it. So that way later on I have it ready for meals and it's already cooked. All I have to do is just pull it out of the freezer and put it in whenever I'm cooking. Most all of the chicken out. If not, that's what the strainer's for. All right, so I don't actually have one of those little handy dandy strainers. So what I'm doing today is I am using a mixing bowl, a colander, and a cheesecloth. I have cheesecloths lying around because I make cheese from time to time. So all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take our broth and I'm just gonna pour it into here to separate out all of those veggies. Okay. Then all we gotta do is just lift up our colander up out of here and let it strain for a minute, and voila, and you have chicken broth. I'm just gonna pick this whole cheesecloth up out of here. Just kind of squeeze it a little bit. It is very, very hot, so just be cautious. Oops, a little spill. I'm actually going to use my tongs. I'm just gonna squeeze, because this has the most flavor in it. So we're just gonna squeeze all of that out. All right, I think that's good enough. Now, all we have to do is wait for this broth to cool enough that I can put it in. I'm gonna freeze in Ziploc bags, just because I can lay them flat in my freezer and I think I have more room. So we're gonna let this cool for a little while, get it cooled down so it doesn't melt my Ziploc bags, and then we'll be back to put it in the freezer. Okay, so our chicken broth is cooled down enough to where I feel like it's safe to put it in a Ziploc bag and put it in the freezer. But I'm gonna go ahead and label my Ziploc bags real fast, just so I know what this is in my freezer. And I'm gonna put a little date on it. And then once I measure this out, I think I'm gonna get 2, possibly 3 bags. I'm not real sure. It wasn't as much as I thought there was gonna be. So we're gonna see. All right, I'm gonna open this bad boy up, see how we do this. Like I said, this is my first time. Little measuring cup. There's about a cup. There's another cup. I'm only gonna do it, and I think in 2 cups at a time, just because that's usually about what I use when I cook. So we're gonna go ahead and Ziploc this up. Pull as much air out of this one as we can. I have really big Ziploc bags for this. I might be a little overzealous here. Okay, and there we are. There's 1. And I'm gonna put on here that there's 2 cups in here, just so when I go to cook, I know how much is in here. Okay, let's do our second one. I think I'm only gonna be able to put this in 2 bags for sure. I was hoping for 3. Let's see what happens. All right, let's go ahead and pour this in here. Look at that, right at 2 cups. So we made 4 cups of broth, which is pretty good. That's a couple things of soup for sure, or casseroles or anything that needs a little extra flavor. So, all right, same thing. Let's seal this up. Make sure we get it sealed because we don't need that liquid going all over my freezer. And I'm gonna label 2 cups in this one as well. And then you can lay it flat, but I think since my bag is so big, I might actually kind of wrap it and let it kind of freeze about like this, just so I can kind of manipulate it and do what I need to a little bit more, since there's not as much as I was hoping for. All right, there we are. Pretty easy and simple homemade chicken broth. I'm gonna stick this in the freezer, let it freeze, so I have it whenever I need it when I'm cooking. Thanks for watching as always. I really appreciate you guys being supportive of me and my little endeavors that I have going on. Don't forget to give me a little bit of a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.